Ray. What do you want to do tonight?
Same thing we do every night, Pinky. Try to take over the world.
There are three levels of creation. So we are each of us three-part beings made up of body, mind, and spirit, just as God is made up of body, mind, and spirit. So each of us are an individual duplication of the triad of energies which we call God. And that triad in our language I call body, mind, and spirit. And so we each have three centers of creation, or three tools of creation: body, mind, and spirit. That is to say, what you think produces energy in the universe that, if you think it often enough and long enough, will actually produce a physical result in your life. Anyone experienced that? Sure, most of us have. In fact, a guy back in 1946 wrote a huge best-selling book on this called The Power of Positive Thinking. And our second level of creation is our words. As you speak, see, so will it be done. And so your word is really a form of energy. You're actually producing energy in the room with what you say. And that energy is creative. You say something often enough, loudly enough, and I promise you it will come to pass. If two or more start saying the same thing, I assure you it will come to pass. And when a whole group of people start saying the same thing, it cannot help but come to pass. This is called group consciousness, and it's, by the way, why the world is the way it is. Because our collective consciousness has not allowed itself to be raised to the level of the individual consciousnesses of many of us. So our job is to raise the, what? Collective consciousness. Now our actions, of course, are the third level of creation, that which we do with this huge, huge collection of energy called our body. We start, and this is a very gross level of creation, very gross level. I mean, I'm moving the air right now. Just moving your hand through the air is a huge, huge movement of energy here. That's why you can literally push energy towards someone. Anyone ever come up to you when you weren't feeling well and just literally stand there with their hand over your head and do nothing else? And in 5 minutes you can begin feeling that, or 5 seconds sometimes, feeling that warmth, that vibration. And doggone it, sometimes if you don't go, I don't know what you just did there, but whoa, do I feel good. Now, of course, if you go even further than that, I'll do this here with this lady who happens to be my wife. If you go even further than that and actually touch each other, incredibly magical things can happen. Because the energy has even happened over there, you see that? Incredibly magical things can happen. Because the energy is very gross and very, not very big, very heavy, very, very real. Now, the problem we have in life is that most often people think one thing, say a second thing, and do a third. That is to say, they do not, as the kids would put it, have it all together. So they think one thing and they do another. Or they say one thing and they think another. Or they don't say what they're thinking, or they don't do what they're saying. Now, I know that none of you in this room have ever had that happen to you in your life, but in my experience, there have been times when I have encountered that conflict between the three centers of my creation. So I often do not want to tell people what I'm actually thinking, because I'm not real proud of what I'm thinking. Then why are you thinking it? God only knows. See? Or sometimes, lately I've started to monitor my thoughts, and I started to, when I get a thought in there that I no longer choose, that's not really who I am, I don't give it a second thought. See? I literally don't give it a second thought. I just throw it out. And if you don't give it a second thought, it no longer has power. Because the nice part about this energy is that it's very thin, very ethereal, and you have to keep thinking it and thinking it and thinking it and thinking it over and over again until it's thunk so much that it becomes very heavy with collective energy. I'm literally explaining to you the physics of the universe here. Life begins to change for you when you begin to say what you're thinking and do what you're saying. And then you have it all together, and you start to create from all three centers of creation, and suddenly you begin to manifest and produce extraordinary results in your life in a very short period of time. See, so thought, which is the most ethereal form, or when I would say the thinnest, to use a simple word, the thinnest form of this creative energy. And then your word is the next thickest, to use a simple word, the next most dense. And then, of course, your action, I started to say, is a real dense form of moving energy around in a real gross manner. All right. So one of the fastest ways to create something in your physical reality is to reverse the normal process by which we create things. Usually we create things first by thinking about it. I think I'll go to that party. And then we say something about it, as in, Matilda, I'm coming to your party tonight. And then we do something about it, as in showing up at the party. Here I am, just as I said I would be, because I thunk the thought this morning. Okay? That's generally how we produce things in our reality. In fact, everything in this room was once a thought in someone's mind. There is nothing that was not once a thought in someone's mind somewhere. But if you want to really play tricks with the universe and create magic with the stuff of life itself, reverse the thought, word, deed paradigm. Turn it upside down and start with the deed. That is to say, act as if. If you want to experience abundance, be abundant and do as abundance does. Therefore, if you have only $5 left to your name, go to a store and get them transferred, made into singles, and take 5 singles and walk down the street and give a single to each of 5 people who have even less than you do. And by the way, you will find those people very easily.